from Wisconsin.
Okay, I'm concerned about the seriousness of these allegations. And what bothers me a little is that I'm beginning to think Americans are beginning to think this behavior by the Biden family is normal. I'm kind of afraid that they're going to say, well, President Biden's a politician. They're going to look at the news with regard to Senator Menendez the last couple of weeks, and they're just going to say this is how it works. I don't think it's the way it works. I think this is this corruption that appears to be, we have all sorts of smoke, maybe not fire, but all sorts of smoke, is almost an historic low for our country. And it deserves a strong response from this body. Look at Senator Menendez's latest indictment. There's no tolerance for putting yourself before your constituents, unless it seems your last name is Biden. I applaud my Democrat colleagues who've asked Senator Menendez to resign, but we know how that ends. There'll be a new Democrat to replace him, no political risk. But here we're talking about the presidency. If the response is, well, Hunter Biden wasn't an elected politician, I have to know just what was Hunter Biden selling. We can't become numb to these facts. The allegations are extraordinary. In fact, I'm not aware of these type of allegations where we have a sitting president accused of bribery, accused of taking payments, whether it be directly or through his family. And these are not empty allegations. We continue to have evidence. Just look at what's come in just the past couple of days. Is President Biden compromised? It's particularly relevant because of the interaction between our country and Ukraine, interaction between our country and China. Doesn't look good, and the facts demand we continue to investigate. Mr. Turley, I want you to really discuss how historic this really is. What do you think is the what do you think is the most concerning piece of evidence that you heard of today?
I think the most concerning, obviously, you have to start with the bribery allegation that was the subject of the FD 1023. Now, I say in the testimony that you have to only take that so far because you have a lot of information about a secondhand account. But when you put it into the context of this labyrinth of accounts and companies used to transfer money, and you have the statements of Hunter Biden, that's what makes this a credible inquiry. And the question is, did the president know? Did he encourage this type of corruption? And the key here, once again, which is what I stressed in the testimony, is you have to begin with a recognition that what Hunter Biden and his associates were doing was corrupt. That's what influence peddling is. It's a form of corruption that our country globally has combated. Now, the only question is for an inquiry is whether that body of corruption, which it is, also encompass the actions or the knowledge of the President of the United States. The only way you will be able to get that information is to follow this evidence. And what I suggest is you do so without any prejudice, you do so without any assumptions. In fact, I hope that the President will be able to show that there is no such nexus. But you won't get those answers until you ask these questions.
So we're really obligated to have this inquiry.
I believe it's your duty to determine if the President is involved in what is a known form of corruption. And that's what I believe has already been described. I believe many people have accepted that this was influence peddling in its rawest form.
Okay, could you elaborate for us the impact bribery of a public official can have on the execution of their duties? And how about if it was the president? Can you explain why the American public ought to care about this?
Well, you know, Alexander Hamilton talked about impeachment in Federalist 65 as a violation of the public trust. And that's really what this ultimately goes to. I'm hoping that there's not much disagreement that public corruption falls within an impeachable offense, because if it does not, then it makes a mockery of what the framers were talking about. You know, during the Clinton impeachment, Michael and I testified, and there was a lot of, I think, good faith discussion between us and the other experts as to the executive function theory and what constitutes an impeachable offense. I would hope that it would be agreed that if a nexus was established with the president, that he participated in the corruption of influence peddling, that it would be a potential impeachable offense, or it would be the basis of an impeachment.
We have millions of dollars flowing to the Biden family. That's been proven overwhelmingly. Are you aware of any precedent in this country where there's been any case of bribery and corruption of a public official or of a president of this magnitude? I mean, is there any historical precedent in this country where
Gentleman's time's expired, but please answer the question, Mr. Turley.
Certainly, this has the assumption, as the ranking member, has contested the degree to which all of this money went to the Biden family members. That has to be, as the ranking member said, it has to be established. But no, in terms of the figures, I've been a critic of influence peddling by both Republicans and Democrats for 3 decades. I've been writing about this a long time. Influence peddling is the favorite form of corruption in Washington, D.C., and this city is awash with it. But have I seen anything of this size and complexity? No. Just as an observer, no. But we still need to know the scope of this and whether all of these financial transfers link the president in any regard, and I'm not going to assume that it does.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous
Chair now recognizes